In this video, we will be logging out a logged in user. So what we have is the index page and a login page. Now the login page is pretty much something that we've been working on in this channel. So I'm just using the same login page that we had from the past. The work that we've done in the past is not really something I'd like to talk about in this video, but I would like to use existing parts of the login page that we've worked on from the previous videos. So pretty much I'm running those pages from the local host and I'm using XAMPP in this case, and that's running, yeah, so that's so I'll just go to an index to show you what it looks like. Pretty much just some hello again text and a link to the login page. Now what we want to do is we want to log the user in and then be able to log them out. That's what we want to achieve in this video. For that purpose, 2 additional pages were created, but they're empty. All we've got is comments that will help us just sort of guide us throughout this video. So if you would like to understand what this code is doing, we're pretty much basically verifying a user from the database and checking if they actually exist. For the database, I'm using MySQL Workbench, and I've also recorded my work on that on videos in this channel for you to refer to. So the first thing that we need to do when we are working with a session, so we want to pretty much remember who the user is to be able to work with the session. For that purpose, we will start the session. That's the very important part. So session start, basically what it does is allows you to store session variables such as session username to track logged in users. So pretty much what it does is it connects the current page to the existing session. Without it, you won't be able to access variables like, session variables like the username, like the one we've got here. If you can actually see, the Visual Studio Code has given us more information about it, saying this is an associative array containing session variables available to the current script. Okay. So on any page that requires information about the session, you would need to have this line at the start of your PHP code. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to store the username and last name in a session. I just copied this line from here. And what we want to do is whatever we fetched from the database, whatever we've retrieved, I'd like the username to be saved in the session. And you can choose to store whatever you like. For this particular demo, I'd like just the username and the last name. And if you only need the username, then by all means. The next thing we want to do is redirect the user to a welcome page and then exit this script. So the redirect, I'm going to use the header function, and I'm going to specify the location, which pretty much is the welcome PHP page. That's pretty much empty, and we won't forget to exit the script once we're done. I'm just going to save and check what we have and just make sure this actually works. So I've got a username with the username test6, and password should also be test6. Oh, so that worked. I don't know what I put in previously, but that's actually taken us to welcome.php. So the redirect is actually working as expected. However, let's keep in mind that there's nothing in welcome.php, so that's something that we want to fill out. But before we actually do the welcome page, let's actually do the logout page. Now, the logout page pretty much will destroy the session and redirect the user to the login page. The first thing that we want to do is we want to start a session. So I'm going to go back to the login page, copy this line, and paste it. So what it does is it will initialize a session so you can access and manage it. In this case, we're not using the session array. We basically want to use some of the session functions like session unset and session destroy. I'm going to copy this line, and then here we unset all session variables. So what we do here is we clear all data stored in the session. The other thing that we want to do is we want to destroy the session. I'm going to copy that line again and just function it. Basically here we completely remove the session from the server, ensuring that the user is logged out. The other thing that we want to do is we want to redirect the user. So in this case, we want to redirect the user to the login page after we've logged them out. So back to the login. And last, we want to exit the script to ensure that no further code is executed after the redirect. Okay, now, before we actually, might be worth, well, it's not really useful to do this, so we're pretty much logged out, but I just wanted to make sure that, I wanted to make sure that I haven't got any errors, but if you actually try to welcome, we need to do some redirection here so that only logged in users are able to access this. So let's go back to login. Oh God, I did not make a spelling. Okay, let's go back here and work on the login page. Now, to demonstrate a successful login, welcome page displays user data and includes a logout link. Now, what we want to do is we want to start the session. So similar to this line here. Initialize the session to access stored data, use data such as the session username. So in this case, we want to access this kind of information, the username. We want to check if the user is logged in. So what we're going to do is we will use a function called isSet. If this basically is not set, so I'm going to use the not. So we're checking if this line has not happened, right? It means that the user is not logged in, okay? So if session username is not set, here we want to redirect the user to login page if not logged in, and then exit the script. So I could actually copy that line here and take the user. Yeah, that's looking good. We also want to, I do need to start my bracket. And the last thing is to actually exit the script and close off our if statement. All right, so let's test it. Oops, forgive me. I've got a problem there on line 10. Line 10. Yeah, so if some silly mistake, always good to test this out. So you can actually see that it won't let me get into welcome because we've actually logged out. But what if we log in? So let's log in. Again, test 6 with test 6. So we're in, but there's nothing. That's because we've only done the work to redirect the user if they're not logged in, and sort of kind of keep the page protected. So what we then want to do, we want to display user details. In this case, session username and session last name to display a personalized welcome message. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into variables for, it's up to you. If you're using this only once, you probably won't need it, but I think it looks just a bit more probably neater if we put them in variables. And last name. Okay, and then let's welcome the user. So H1. Now, because I'm going to be sort of have to display variables, I'm using double quotations there, just showing that I've got some dynamic content that's going to be displayed, that I'm not sure what the name of the user or last name is, depending on who's logged in. For that purpose, I'm using double quotes as such. Let's have a look at that. So now it's actually displayed that to me. Welcome. So the username, if we look at the workbench, I've got a username called test6 and the last name is test. So it's displaying the information correctly. Now let's go back here, and one more thing is I want to add a link to the logout page so the user can log out if they wanted to from here. Now, because I'm only going to display static information, then I'm only using a single quotation, as you can see here. I might make a separate video on that, but for now, let's log the user out. Or if they wanted to, give them the option to log out by giving them a link. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Okay, line 25, unexpected. I might have just, now I forgot my single quote. Okay, so now I'm able to sort of move from one page to another. But as soon as I log out, I won't be able to access the welcome page anymore. So that's pretty much it. In the next video, what I would like to do is to update my index page to provide a link to the login or welcome, depending on the user session status. Are they logged in or not? So make this a bit more dynamic. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.